Where's the sound trip ever taken?
Dave.
Liam.
It's a trailer.
Watch It If You Can podcast. Join us for each episode as we create box sets of our favourite films and TV shows.
We go through the cast to see what else they've been in, along with any recommendations.
We pick our favourite characters, performances, moments and highlights from the soundtrack too.
We ask if there's anything to make it better and look at the lasting legacy of our pick.
We have a little fun with our quickfire round, and finally, what else would you like list based on themes from the episode.
Maybe, just maybe, you should watch it if you can.
What if they've already seen it?
Well, you can watch it again if you can.
I'm dreadfully sorry, Mrs. Extra Wide Load. What are you packing in now, huh? About 24 jelly donuts a day, huh? No,
what about the rumors that you're mentally imbalanced?
Who the fuck said that? That's bullshit! I'm not mentally imbalanced!
You wouldn't understand.
I understand you got a pretty fucked up idea of animal husbandry.
Represent family entertainment.
Who gives a shit?
Warriors, come out and play!
Yeah. Go into orbit and nuke it from space. It's the only option, you know.
So what if the itsy bitsy spider didn't climb up the water spout, but instead managed to grow another one of itself inside of you and took over your entire building? Well, that's an answer we will get today. I'm Jokey Pants, joined by Cerebral Paul for this deep, big-brained conversation.
Oh, yeah, I can see this is going to get deep. Yeah. I got my waders on. Yeah.
So, today we're going to talk about a movie called Infested from 2023. And you may be asking, why would we talk about this random spider movie? That is because the director of this is doing Evil Dead Burn, and I figured why not talk about the movie that he first did that got him like a name for himself, to where he got the option to do that, which he'd actually been pretty vocal about, something he'd wanted to do, but didn't have enough of a name for anyone to take his script seriously. So, yeah, so we're going to talk about Infested, and it's a movie. It's one of those things where this is another foreign film. It was one that I was originally going to do in the foreign month, but then things got jumbled around and this kind of got pushed back. But it's a French horror movie that went everywhere and gained a lot of attention, but overall it's not the best received. But just the way he handled some things, I'm very curious how he's going to handle doing an Evil Dead, because this has some like fun body horror things that it does with the spiders, where I'm like, okay, I think I could see him like with an Evil Dead tone. What the hell would he do with that kind of ideas? And the man who directed this today, we'll just start off with that, because I'm probably going to mispronounce his name. I had to look up how to pronounce his last name because I couldn't figure it out for the life of me, because I'm dumb American high. Sebastian Vanicek. I had to look up the last name because that's not how it doesn't sound how it looks. So I had to look it up and just like make sure I say his last name right.
It's also not French. I'm just throwing that out there, you know.
You know, that actually plays in to things about this movie. So we'll get into it.
I noticed that when the opening crawl started, that there were a lot of not French names involved in this picture. Yeah.
Yes. But this was shot just outside of Paris. It was in a neighborhood that he knew actually pretty well. So let's start with the background that of how this movie got its name. So in France, Paris, you know, really anywhere. I think this is more relevant now than than it was even 2 fucking years ago at this point, or 2-3 years ago. But essentially, he made this movie with the idea about he grew up in this neighborhood, and as Paul pointed out by his last name, he is not a native Frenchman himself. But he did notice growing up in the area that, like, people who were from the Middle East or, like, you know, African Americans, anyone else who came to live in France, whatever, they were treated very differently. And his wording for it was, we were treated like we were an infestation living inside of somewhere we weren't wanted. And that is where the idea for this movie came from for him, was, how about I take that idea, but instead of people, just a bunch of fucking spiders.
The French don't like outsiders. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Well, then again, you know, it's something that's become a bit more relevant here in America now, sadly. But anyway, but that was something he noticed when he was growing up. So he said that that's really where the title came from, because people would basically look at him and his family and be like, you're just an infestation that we need to crush out of our country. And he's like, well, that's rude, but okay. So that was the basic idea behind it, was just take your own traumas and then put them into a horror movie spin and turn that into... I had a lot of questions about these spiders as we start to talk about this movie. I have a lot of questions because I feel like there are some things that aren't really answered, and I'm just like, why though?
These spiders had attitude. I don't know where they got. I mean,
there is a line in this movie that gets said that I think is supposed to help explain it, but I'm still very much like, that doesn't fully explain anything, but all right. So yeah, Infested, or I have the French title here, or Verminese. I don't speak French, so, you know.
Basically, it's vermin.
Yeah,
is the actual name of it? That's the actual would be vermin. I don't know why they chose Infested when vermin works too.
I think because, at least for like a wider global audience, especially here, like vermin, I think people associate with more like rodents and rats. So being bugs, I think that's why they went Infested, so it gets that across that it's bugs. But still, I agree. You could have gone with vermin and you could have gotten the same thing. So this movie, so this movie starts without a main character. You don't get to know who any of the main characters are right away. Instead, we have a bunch of smugglers who are sent to the desert. I kind of feel bad for these guys, because I feel like they were just told, all right, there's some spiders out in the desert. We need you to go get them so we can sell them on the black market to whoever wants them. And I don't feel like they were adequately told.
The only one I really feel bad about is the one who ended up taking a shotgun to the face. Okay.
So yeah, we're in a Middle Eastern desert, and there's just a bunch of guys who show up, and you don't fully understand what they're doing quite yet. They pull out like gas canister equipments, like a bug spray, like you'd see exterminators have. Which, here's the thing. I have to question, what the hell were they using? Because they find like the hole they're looking for, this burrow of spiders, and they shove the nozzles down and spray, and it's just like this vibrantly green gas that comes pouring out, and I'm like, is that a pesticide? But if it's a pesticide, why would you try to kill the thing?
And really, all it needs to be is smoke to upset the bugs inside, you know.
It's colored smoke. They went to the store, they got a little color packet.
Maybe they just so they can easily spot where it comes out.
I mean, that could be too. I thought it was like a chemical or something to like explain the things that happen later in the movie.
No, I don't think so. I think it was.
But that makes more sense.
Yeah, I think it was just colored smoke.
That makes more sense. But yeah, they start scooping up spiders that come pouring out of the fucking thing in all these different containers.
Well, except for the one guy who took a spider to the face, you know.
Yeah, there's a dude. He just unfortunately is like standing over the hole, and it just pop. You don't see the spider right away, but this dude freaks out because it is going to town on this man. So we do get to see that the venom these things have is extremely dangerous.
But it's interesting to me that his friends all watch him do this, and he's writhing and screaming on the ground, and they're more worried about catching the shit in the Tupperware.
Oh, well, hey, man.
I'm out. I'm way out.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. They were desperate for money. They said, fuck it, you're dead, but that's fine. Which he's definitely dead, because then one of his companions comes over and just chop with a machete. He's like, well, you're dead, so let me help you out real quick.
As he was still screaming at the time, by the way. So
oh, God,
he
dude
was
is
dead-ish.
screaming bloody murder. Yeah, like, but you do kind of see, like, he gets bit on the face, and you see, like, it like festering, and it doesn't look pleasant. So he's totally not having a good time.
And then I'm sorry, but who at that point think, hey, this is a good idea. Let's smuggle this into the city. Here's a good idea. Yeah. This is how you get fucking snakes on a plane, okay?
Well, that too.
What's funny is it's the same basic idea, really.
I mean, you know what? In a way, I see where you're coming from. But no, I mean, like, I imagine that it has to be that they're just making stupid amounts of money. Because, like, I know at least from a reptile standpoint, like, poisonous snakes, as much as you shouldn't have them and you shouldn't have them, that's a big market. So, like...
But if they're making shitloads of money, why weren't they dressed the part? Okay, I mean, you know.
Well, not to be political, but last I heard...
Wearing protective gear, at least, knowing, hey, we're collecting venomous spiders. You know, and they're all out there in jeans and T-shirts going, okay, I got this. Hell.
I would assume, like, for a realistic standpoint, I heard somebody talking about this recently of, like, Middle Eastern money, because somebody had some from a grandfather who was in a war, and they had a ton of it, and then they were doing the conversion, and they had everyone guess, like, how much do you think all that's worth? They're like, 1 million, blah, blah, blah. They're like, oh, that's got to be like a good couple $100. They're like $12.50. They were like, what? They're like, yeah, no, it is outside of there. Even there, it's not worth a lot. Outside of there, it's worth like nothing. So I'd imagine even if they're making a ton of whichever country, whatever currency, it's probably still not a lot of money. So it's just like, fuck it. If I die, it's better than living on the street at this point.
Not dying like that, it wasn't. Oh.
I mean, if it were me, I wouldn't have even, as soon as they told me we're going to go get these dangerous creatures and we're going to try and be like, you know what? Not the guy for this job. I'm walking away now. What'd you say, spiders? Hell no. I'm out. I'm out the minute you say spiders. But from there, the spiders get transported all, whatever. Much like I said, it's just a black market thing. Get these things out there for people. And that's where we meet one of our first main characters, Caleb. Because he steps into a convenience store. He's going to buy stuff. He has a guy who has connections to get stuff.
See, I gotta say, I like Caleb. Caleb was in all of this. Caleb is actually the innocent.
Caleb is a true, like, he is a very good guy. Like, he's made his mistakes in the past, we'll find out later, but even the mistakes he made weren't life-ending terrible choices. And this is everything that happens in this movie, as much as he causes it was all with good intention, and nothing ill about this person was any of the intentions.
I mean,
it's such unfortunate.
His collection of the insects and the animals was to learn about them and protect them, and they're his, and to take care of them. And he made sure that, so he really doesn't deserve anything that happened.
He did everything that happens to him is so unfortunate. He really is just a nice guy. But yeah, he shows up and he's basically he's looking for a pair of earrings But he also gets his shoes from this guy, and we'll find out later that he has his own side racketeering of just selling one-of-a-kind shoes to people, and that's how he's making so much money. Which, again, also, fair. That's also a really weird fucking side market where people do that, where they just get one-of-a-kind shoes for hundreds of thousands of dollars at a time. But anyway... So Caleb he goes into the back to go look at the other stuff that the guy's selling in the back room, and he finds that spider, and in his mind he's like, oh, well, I could take care of this thing. Like, it doesn't have to sit in this plastic container and die. Like, I'll take it from you. Like, sure. And much like Paul had said there, like, when he gets back to his apartment to, like, we see that he has just a ton of different things. He has like different insects, like scorpions. He has some snakes, some lizards, and frogs. Also, I'd also like to say, I hope he's making a ton of money, because the power bill for all of those heat lamps of just the like 4 shelves full of cages has to be insane.
Yeah.
And his sister even tells him, like, this is so much money. We're wasting so much money on power. And I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. That's a lot of fucking heating lamps. Holy shit.
But at the same time, man, he was, okay, you guys got to be cool. You guys got to be kept warm. You guys, I mean, he's doing very,
yeah. He's very, how to put that, very detail oriented in how every single organism has to be. If they need it a little bit colder or hotter, if they need to be moisture, like whatever it is, he's very, very on top of it. So which again, I have to agree with Paul. He doesn't deserve anything that's about to happen in this movie, because you see, he's a genuinely nice guy. He's just trying to help. But he gets into an argument with his sister, because his sister's...
The part we didn't see was the after effect as he went back into that store, walked up to the guy, just punched him in the face and walked out.
Beating him. What was that for? You already know.
Yeah, check the paper. I'm sure you can figure it out, asshole.
Put 2 and 2 together. But he does get into an argument with his sister. She's like renovating the bathroom, which this is something we talked about with Rec. Paul's had experience with it. I have not. But this is an apartment building it's not just your apartment. You're like, it's like owning a house, but an apartment.
Right.
It's the only way I can describe it, because the mom died, so it's been passed off to them. The sister wants to fix it up so that they can just sell it and move on with their life. But Caleb's very against it, because like, this is where we grew up. This is like, what are you talking about?
And they seem to be broken up into units as well. They've done that whole thing where they,
Yes. Yeah. Everything is its own little individual thing there. But yeah, his sister's Manon or Manon.
It was an interesting name that kept coming. Yeah.
I had to look up how it was spelled when I first watched this ever, because I was like, is he saying, what the hell is he saying? Because like, it is subtitled over, and it's
I was
French,
going to say, don't you
like,
turn on the subtitles even if you... So.
I didn't know I needed subtitles at first, because when the opening comes up and it's just like Arabic and whatnot, I'm like, okay, well, it's clearly like, okay, I understand what they're doing, and like, whatever, I guess they didn't subtitle that. And then I got into the rest of the movie, I'm like, oh no, the whole movie's in it. Okay, now I understand. But anyway, so him and his sister argue about that. Jeez, this is where we get into the whole sneakers thing, because he has a big deal that he's about to make where he should be making a ton of money, but he goes down into the basement and there's like a storage area that connects to the parking garage. And he goes into the storage and he's pulling out the shoes and he notices there's a leaking pipe, and it's completely ruined the box for the shoes, which significantly hurts the sale, because that, like, people want the box, they want them vintage. So now he's in a predicament where like he has to figure out repairing the box or seeing if they don't really care about the box. Like, now he's in that kind of predicament because he doesn't really have another box. It's a whole thing with his side operation here. We also see the spider that he brought home. He put it into another box.
This is probably as far as I'm concerned, this is the one truly, really stupid thing that he did.
Yeah, because he puts it in a damaged box, and I'm just like, did you not check all the edges of this box, or like just at least the integrity of the box?
Not only that, it's just a matter of, as you'll learn, spiders will find a way out. Yeah.
Yes.
And if they can't find a way out, they will make a way out, which is
but he puts the spider in the shoebox, and he's basically just like, I'll figure out exactly what kind of like enclosure I need to put you in when I have time. Right now I just got some stuff to take care of. We find out the earrings that he was going to get are for his neighbor Claudia, because she's moving. She's moving away. I think she mentioned she's going like to America or whatever. Like she's moving on with her life. She's moving out of this apartment. And it's one of those things where like, because of the way the building is, everyone's a community. So everyone is at this party of like wishing her well as she moves on, as she goes to do her own thing. Man, she should have just left right then and there.
And the part we didn't see was they were then arguing over who gets to take over her unit, because that's what happens also.
I think there might have been something about that in the background, but they don't focus on it, so you wouldn't know. Like, that's a good point. Everyone who gets to take it.
Yeah.
Who the hell knows?
Maybe a cartoon monkey's gonna beat you over the head with a monkey wrench, and you need to go to work tomorrow and just need to recover. But you need the W energy. That's what you need. The only way you're gonna get through. I don't remember what the nightmare juice is called, but if W's smart, they should try to get that and make it a fucking flavor. TM, you owe me for that one. Actually, no, you could have that one for free.
So yeah, go on over to W, show us some love, and let's get on with the movie. But yeah, at this point, like, you just kind of meet the rest of the building. It's a very lively place. It's a very, very nice place. Everyone gets along. It's a good little community. And Claudia also tells him, like, hey, if you ever need anything, you ever want to go on vacation, let me know, because where I'm going to be in America, there's a bunch of space. You never know what animals you'll find. Like, you could love it over there. Come visit.
Either going to Montana or Wyoming. So,
going somewhere that's not there. That's all she cares about.
There's a lot of things that'll kill you out here, but hey, you're welcome to come visit.
So the spider has gotten out of the box, by the way. The spider just fucks off. We don't see anything about this for a bit. But boy, is it not good that thing got out.
And by the way, it didn't get out because the box had a hole. No, he made a hole. That little bastard.
I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt that, the spider, maybe whatever, that, just regardless, the spider
gonna spider. But I'll tell you what, these spiders seem much more focused than the usual spider, though. Seriously, I mean, they
100%. Yeah, it took me a second there. So the next day, we get Caleb and his sister once again getting into an argument. What are they in an argument about this time? Well, she has her friends come over, but there's one friend specifically who shows up to help with the renovations that Caleb has a problem with, and that is Jordy. Because the history behind this is that Jordy got arrested years ago when they were kids. And in Caleb's mind, he believes that Jordy basically, like, was going to rat him out and had ratted him out about things. And, like, he's the reason he had gotten in trouble before. So, like, and also he went down a bad path dealing in drugs and whatnot. So, like, why are we hanging around him? He's a bad influence. We'll find out later that's not necessarily all true. Jordy wasn't necessarily the worst person either. But unfortunately, no one finds that out until it's way too fucking late.
By the way, I will say about this movie that once the action starts, it's very there's very little dialogue in this movie. It is a very much action-driven movie.
It is very much people versus spiders, and that's about all it focuses on. Is just these fucked spiders, man. These are the worst kind of spiders.
But I will say that's the kind of movie I like, that they tell the story through the action. There's not a lot of dialogue. There's not a lot of distraction. It reminds me of, like, I haven't talked about it in relation to movies, but like Batman the Animated Series, the old Superman animated stuff from Max Fleischer. There was always very little dialogue to set up the story. Most of it was told with what you were shown on the screen and music.
Fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. I hadn't really thought about it that way. That's a fair point, though. It works in this one, I think.
But there are long stretches of this movie where there's absolutely no dialogue.
Yeah, which there are points where it makes sense that they're not talking, but they don't let you just sit there in silence. There's so much other thing. There's things going on, so
that you don't get distracted by them talking all the time. You know.
So the other thing that happens the day before, I forgot here, he runs into Tumani, who is the guy he's supposed to sell shoes to. And I think it's just kind of implying that this guy is essentially like what would be a gang leader in America, but like in their community sense of like, he's the top dog and other people answer to him. So Caleb's just hoping to make the fucking deal with this guy because... Just give me the money you owe me and, like, don't cause me any problems. I know you're going to cause problems. Like, just don't. But he talks about that he's
I will say that about Caleb. Caleb, as much as he takes care of the animals, he seems to be one of those guys that's always in the middle of something, some deal or something, or, you know, some...
he's constantly hustling.
He doesn't seem to intentionally cause trouble. He just ends up to be in that situation. He doesn't think things through.
Yeah. So, also, the guy mentions his nickname, and I fucking forgot his nickname now, but it has to do with the brand of shoes, and that the shoes he's wearing are falling apart, and that's why he needs these new limited edition gold sneakers, so that he keeps up appearances.
He got the Trump gold shoes. Wow. Oh no. Oh, I'm kidding.
Also, yes, that's essentially what he's buying here. It's too money because he has too many shoes. It's a whole play on he collects shoes for whatever fucking reason. But Caleb even points out, it's like, isn't the point of collecting shoes not to wear them so you don't ruin them? Because like. Yeah. You've destroyed those ones, and these ones are like one-of-a-kind shoes. Like, are you sure you want to wear them? Anyway, so the next day he goes to make that deal. This is when I think he looks at the spider box, and he's just like, I'm going to deal with you when I get back. Let me go deal with this quick. Gets too money, his fucking shoes. Screwed over on the payment because Tumani's just like, I'll pay you whenever I feel like, man. Like, give me the fuck. You're late on this deal anyway. I don't owe you. Causes a whole rift for Caleb because it's like he expected this big, large amount of money and he's about to get screwed over. Which, again, like Paul said, he's just in situations he shouldn't be in because he doesn't fully think through anything.
Yeah.
But he had tried to explain it the day before. There's like, he just needed a new box, and that's what started the argument about, I don't give a shit about that, I'm throwing him on my feet. This is where Caleb goes back, and he realizes the spider's not in the box, so he freaks out a bit, which then causes the sister and friends to be like, what are you freaking out about? What's so bad? And that's when everyone gets to see.
Well, didn't he also, but he also, remember when he also found the clutch, the egg clutch, And even he was like, okay, that was fast. Because
No, I don't think he finds that quite yet.
The little one inside the box, because he throws it back down and he closes up the box.
Oh, no. He that part they find in a bit. I think he does find like the egg sac cocoon thing, and then he's just like
a little what looked like
yeah.
Yeah, that's what he saw.
He does find that, and then he's just like,
but
the hell is
I
this?
knew what it was. That's how they lay their eggs. That's so he was like,
you'd think he would understand that, being a person, but like he throws it back in the box and is like.
I think he did, and that's why he had that quizzical look on his face. But he didn't know it
That's
was going to
fair.
lead to what happens. But,
I mean, who the hell could expect that was going to happen? I don't think anyone in their right mind would expect the events of this movie to happen.
At least in a matter of literally an hour or two between getting it there and all of a sudden, it's like, yeah. What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly happen?
What's funny, he throws it back down in the same box and go, you know what? Maybe I should put this in a sealed container. That's
maybe just maybe you should put it in something other than that. But also when he makes the deal with Tumani, he gets approached by the racist neighbor who just like assumes Caleb's doing some of these, like, you're selling drugs, are you? I know you're selling drugs. Look at you. And I just went, man, that's mad. Like, I hope you die in like the worst way, because like, what did he do? What did he honestly do? You see him passing a thing to somebody, you're like, two people of color, clearly it's drugs. It's just like, oh my god, can you die? Like, what the fuck? But we do cut back over to Tumani, who goes to try to put on his new shoes and immediately gets bit in the foot by spider because it managed to crawl into those new shoes, and he's about to not have a good time.
Totally okay with that.
Yeah, for Ray, he was gonna kill Caleb over a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
So like, he's another one where it's like, I don't feel bad for what's about to happen to you. But he does kill it with a shoe, and this is a detail that will come back in later in the movie. But his dog eats the dead spider. That will come up later. So just put a pin, and the dog ate the spider. Let's put a pin in that, and we'll come back to that later. Which I also have some questions on how the fuck that works later. But hey, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So he has the moment where the friends go in and they all see the different animals. They're like, oh, this is pretty cool. And he's like, yeah, sure. Everybody get out though. Because like, just get the fuck out of my room. Stop tapping on glass. Just leave me alone. I've got this. We see that Tumani is fucking losing it, which it's weird to see. Like, the dude who got bit in the beginning just like screamed and writhed in pain, and he didn't like. There wasn't a whole lot of anything else that seemed to happen for him. But when we get to Tumani, he's just like tripping balls and has like flu-like symptoms going on, and he doesn't know what's going on or what to do.
Well, it could be because the other guy was bit in the face. Okay.
I mean, that could be maybe being on the foot. It just acts differently.
And it had to work its way through the bloodstream and all that. Yeah.
Yes. I mean,
they don't explain a lot in this movie.
There's things that just don't get explained. And what happens later, they definitely don't. There's just a line that gets said, and I'm like, sure, but like, why though? Like, why is the thing I want to know? But this is where people try to get a hold of Tumani and they can't. So then they end up getting into the apartment and they find him dead. People assume it's a drug overdose because everyone knew he had dealings and things he was doing. He had a reputation.
And nobody liked him anyway, so they really didn't care.
Yeah, nobody liked him. Racist fucking neighbor dude immediately blames Caleb and tries throwing him under the bus. Be like, I saw him give him a package. It was him. He did it. And I'm just like, you have no proof that he did it.
It could have been a DoorDash delivery. Really, I mean,
Like there's no way to do it, but movies trying to make a point here. But this is where the paramedics talk about that they find what looks like could be an animal bite, but they don't really know. They've never seen anything like this, and they rush away, and Caleb's immediately like, oh shit. Well, I need to go to my room.
Doesn't really make sense, because if it bit him on the foot, the paramedics wouldn't think to look at his feet. That's something for the coroner to deal with, you know.
I think the reason that they even notice it, I think is because he has a shoe on, but his other foot is bare, and it's like necrotic looking. So that's why they're just like, I've never seen anything like that. That's weird. So this is where Caleb goes back to his room, like starts sealing things off, and everyone's like, "It was you, wasn't it? Like he died because of whatever it is that you lost."
Why you think that? Wow.
Right, and Jordy becomes an immediate villain because he just like smashes and kills all the animals in his room like a dick.
Yeah.
Like they hold Caleb back and they're just like, no, it's your fault this happened, so like you can't have these things. And he's like, most of them are literally not. There's like geckos and toads. They don't hurt anyone. Like, what are you doing?
So let's set them all loose in the building. What could possibly go wrong?
Let's let them all loose. Let's kill them all. Oh, there's also a fun detail in towards the beginning when he first brought the spider home. You see the reaction of every single animal in the other terrariums all freak out and hide. As like even the animals know, like, oh no, that thing's no. Send that back to wherever you got it, my guy. So yeah, they obviously the friends are all upset. The one friend, Leela, is it Leela? Lila? Regardless, the one friend, she goes off in the bathroom, and she's basically trying to calm herself down.
Yeah, that's not going to work out for her. No.
Yeah, no, because they happen to show you. This is where this movie really gets into like, oh, this is going to be fucked, isn't it? Because they show inside the vent, and we see that there's so many of these spiders just already in the vent. And it's just like, oh no, this will be a bad time for fucking everybody. There's like a good 30, 50 of them in like that little vent from the one spider that they had. But one of them comes out of the vent, starts scaring her. She screams. Everybody comes rushing in. Caleb tries to advocate for like, don't kill it, just catch it, and we'll put it outside, we'll release it, we'll get rid of it, there's no need to kill it. But Jordy says, nah, fuck that, I've seen arachnophobia, and immediately starts trying to kill it. He should have been bit. Can I just say right now, 100% he would have been bit when it like crawls up the broom and you see how fast they are. Yeah. There's no way his reaction time was good enough to move his hand. Like, that man was bit. That man is dead. That man does not do what he does. But now we get the plot of the spiders, because he smashes it. And instead of just gooey dead spider, hundreds of more little spiders come spewing out. Everyone's like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
They immediately seal the bathroom, which is fair, but also this is why I have to question in this movie why. One of the characters makes a line that there's, survival of the fittest and animals will adapt according to blah, 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 which is meant to be an explanation to what's going on with these spiders, but like, that's not how that works in a natural sense. So there's either supernatural or the green smoke wasn't smoke and somebody fucked up, because like, this isn't how animals work, but they don't explain that at any point. Nobody says like they're found in nature. Nobody does a Google search. Nobody does shit. But these spiders just spawn. like a goddamn Hydra on crack, because if you kill one or do anything, just hundreds more just spew from whatever corpse is there. And I'm like,
that's where it doesn't make sense.
Like that is definitely my biggest thing with this movie, is like, just give me something to explain why the fuck they are the way they are, other than just, the Darwinism, survival of the fittest. Like, no, that's not how that works. That's not an instant thing anywhere in nature. They don't just immediately adapt like that. So, maybe say.
Not only that, they breed worse than like anything ever. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the least of their problems they're going to have in this movie. This is where they all start freaking out. They seal off the bathroom. They're all absolutely fucking horrified, because like,
I would be too. I mean, yeah.
And then everything goes off the rails from here, because then Caleb's like, we should go check on people, like, just make sure, there isn't any more that have gotten out. And they show you that these spiders are definitely in every other fucking apartment right now. We get Claudia has a son who we see working out in his room, and then he sees a spider, and then he goes to chase it down. And his whole scene is like, he punches a hole in the wall and then sticks his head in the wall.
Yeah.
And we find that they're like everywhere in this, every nook and cranny in this building now is full of these things, and they attack him and kill him. They show up in the apartment to check on Claudia, and then horrifyingly, they find Claudia sitting in her chair, and then spiders just start popping out of her mouth, and they're just like, oh no, she's very dead. Everyone is fucking dead. I don't, like, no one in this apartment building is going to be living. There's also the maintenance woman of the entire building, who, in the very beginning of this movie, I forgot to mention it because it's a small scene. There were a bunch of kids doing fireworks in the lobby, and Caleb had stepped in to help her. But we see her whole death scene makes me laugh. Because at first it's just like, okay, that's comical, because she sees one spider, kills it, and she gets bug spray. She just starts spraying, and she's like, oh, there's a spider web on the vent. Well, let me just get up in the vent. And she puts on like a whole gear. She's got like handkerchief over the nose. She got a little head flashlight, and she pokes her head up. She sees a ton of them and goes, oh. Pops back down, comes back up with 2 cans, and just goes to town. Which obviously doesn't help her case at all, because the spiders immediately kill her, because she's a threat. Basically the thing with this movie is, like, anything that they perceive as a threat, they kill. Like, this whole thing is now their nest. And it's, as I said, it's about to get so much worse. Oh. Yeah, so the spiders start getting bigger. Like, I mean, massively bigger. They start to see ones that are, like, literally the size of a dog that are just on walls and shit, and they're like, oh, this is bad, huh? So they lock themselves in their apartment. They're like, someone will come. Someone will help us, right? Like, these things, like, like... Buddy, let me tell you, no one's coming to help you. The racist guy comes to attack him. He like busts in the apartment because he's like, Caleb's the dude. Everyone knows he's got. Which is the other thing. Caleb thinks he was being sneaky with all the animals, but apparently everyone knows he has these things.
I can guarantee you that with that many animals, the smell coming out of that apartment.
Everybody knows. But yeah, so.
I also guarantee you that the guy living above them never had to pay a heating bill in his life. Okay.
It's a fucking sauna up there. So the racist dude from the beginning busts in their house, and he's just like, I know it's Caleb. They said that there was like a spider bite or some kind of animal thing. he's the one with animals and they're probably all dangerous, so fuck him and fuck all those. He goes in and starts smashing what's left of terrariums that Jordy and them, because Jordy and them got stopped and they're like, okay, fine, they don't deserve to be suffered, whatever. But this guy doesn't care. He just takes like a baton and starts smashing everything, crushing everything. So earlier, that cocoon we talked about, they did go back and look at that and found it was filled to the brim with more fucking spiders. So Caleb had taped it up and just been like, we'll deal with that later. Later's now, because this man proceeds to pick up that box and go, oh, there's something in here, isn't there? This is probably all your drugs, isn't it? And he takes his knife and cuts it open. You get what you ask for. He's immediately swarmed by spiders and dies. And because of that, they shut the door, lock the door, and then go, we need to get the hell out of here because those are all going to be everywhere now. They're not going to just be in there anymore.
And they're pissed off because he played them like the kookarat, like
a... Shakes them all to hell. So yeah, they are now leaving their apartment. Because they just kind of assume, like, well, we got to do something. They go down. They figure they're going to go through the parking garage because it's the only way out of the building. Because they try to go through the front door, whatnot. They see everything's covered in webs and spiders. Everything that they can think of as an exit is already covered. So they're like, the parking garage. That's right next door. That's the way out. Let me tell you this scene. This fucking scene. It makes my skin crawl every fucking time. So when he went to go check his storage, they made sure to show you that the light system in the hallway is time activated. And unless you're there to tell it you need the lights on, the lights go off automatically. So they get to the little hallway and they hit the light and they see that the hallway is a giant spider web. There are so many in this hallway that was dark, which is where they learned that they have a sensitivity to light. They don't like it at all. The minute they turn on the lights, all the spiders scurry away and they're like, well, that's what we need to do. We just need to keep the light on and if we're real careful, we can get through. And the sister brings up, but it's on a 60-second timer. We have to get across this hallway in less than 60 seconds, or these things are just going to go nuts. She feels she's the fastest, so she's going to go. I would say, you know what, guys? Do we have a gun? Do we have any kind of weapon? Because you know what? I opt out at this point. I'm not crossing the creepy hallway of death. And I'm definitely not going back into the apartment complex of death. I feel like we're kind of just out of options now. So they try to do that. Unfortunately, the lights do end up turning off as they're trying to get across. Their other friend Mathis reveals that he had fireworks in the backpack from the kids earlier they find, and he's just like, well, why don't we use some of these? It's just so dumb. So they only get I think halfway through the hallway, and the sister gets stuck. They have to get her out. And not even all of them get out of the hallway, because Mathis gives he gives Caleb whatever the backpack, and he's like, just in case, but I'm gonna help get your sister. He gets bit, he gets taken, he gets webbed up, he's fucking dead, and everyone just runs to where they already were, and they're just like, well, I don't know what the hell we're gonna do, because we can't get through the hallway without the fucking light turning off. There's no way to get across safely. Also, our friend is now just dead. He's been taken by these fucking spiders. So they double back, and then they go to what's like a maintenance closet essentially, And they're just like, well, what the hell do we do? Like, we can't stay here. There's, like, literally these things are coming from everywhere. We've seen they're in the walls. They're in the vents. Like, what are we even going to do? And that's where they bring up, like, oh, we have this thing of fireworks and we can somehow fashion, like, Molotov cocktails of some kind. Maybe we can, you know, scare them away since they don't like light. Fire's a light. I'll say it's probably the best plan they've got, you know, all things considered. I mean, I think your only other option at this point is just run through the hallway and hope you don't get tripped up and trapped like your friend. But this is where the Caleb and his sister have a conversation. They use the firework Molotov thing. They go upstairs because they mentioned something about, like, maybe they can get out from the roof. But in my mind, I'm like, no, you've seen, like, every hallway, every room so far has been infested. You think getting to the roof is going to be any better than what you already were doing?
That's one of the rules of go higher. Why stop it? Don't.
Yeah. It doesn't, obviously it's not going to work for them, but they think maybe they can get to the roof and then get out that way. So they do that. They use the Molotovs, the fireworks, which they don't have very much of. And apparently no one did a count in the backpack before they made this run to, like, how many they had. But they do manage to get up there, and they get up to, I don't even know, just a room being worked on. Just somewhere being worked on. And much like Wreck, they find that there's no way out. There's not a way, there's not, like, roof access from the only room they could get in, and it's, like, under construction being done, whatever. But it doesn't have any roof access, so they got to this room for no reason. There's no way out. And that's where Caleb and his sister have a talk. And we learn that the history behind Caleb and Jordy was, Caleb had an iguana that got aggressive, which I've been around people who have an iguana. Just don't get an iguana as a pet. Every iguana I've ever met is a total fucking asshole. Like, it just attacks, and that's about all they fucking do. They don't want to be held. They don't want to be around you. In fact, my like 7th grade biology teacher had an iguana, and it was just a game to let it run around the floor. And just, if it bit onto your leg, how long can you last? Will you rip your pants, or will you get them off? That's all I know with iguanas. So, like, don't get one. Or 4th grade, Mr. Brown also had one. And he was very adamant to all us kids, don't touch it, don't go near the cage. You can look at him from afar. That's all you can do, because he will fuck you up. But anyway, so he had a baby iguana he was helping, like, raise to then release whatnot. And it attacked Jordy. Jordy got caught by police, and he never ratted Caleb out. He just took the fall for him, went to jail. And when he asked his sister why he did that, she's like, because he knew you wouldn't last in prison. Like, like an illegal animal, like, that was big jail time. He knew you couldn't do it. You're too nice of a person. Jordy took the fall for you because he could handle it. So, like, you've been hating him this entire time, but, like, literally he didn't rat you out. Somebody else in the building ratted you out, but he took the fall for you. Which is so nice. It's a nice little bonding moment for two old friends. That won't really matter here soon. So they realize that the only way they have out is exactly what they were doing before. There's literally no other way out of this fucking building. They have to go to the garage. So that's what they do. They make a bum rush back for the garage. Can you guess how that goes, folks? Can you guess how that goes? Let me tell you. It doesn't go well. It was Jordy that got taken. Sorry, it's Jordy that gets taken earlier when they tried it. Because they end up finding Jordy on their way back down. And they find that the spider, like, comes out of him. which was alluded to earlier. I forgot to mention the dog. I made you guys put a pin in it. I'm sorry, I forgot it. But originally in their apartment, right before the stuff happened, the dog, the fucking spider came out of the dog. That's something where I had to question with this movie too. Much like we talked about, they don't explain things. Like, if the spider gets smushed, whatever, and it just spawns, why did eating the dead spider make a spider grow inside the dog? That is where there has to be some kind of supernatural or something going on, because that doesn't make sense. Because it's the size of the dog. So, like, did the dead spider come back to life and then grow to be that? Like, what happened with the dog having a spider inside of it?
Yeah. There's some parts you just don't ask questions, you know. Maybe the guy I just finished watched, The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing. That's cool.
Very well could be. But when they do find their friend's body, and a spider comes out of it, they notice that it's related to getting bit. Which, again, when we see the venom earlier, that's not a thing it does. And now if you're bit, you're gonna spawn a fucking spider. So it's just like, what? Why? Why is this a thing they're doing all of a sudden? That's not what they did earlier. They just killed you. But they do manage to...
Maybe if the other guy would have lived long enough before getting his, face chopped off. Or
I mean, I guess that's possible. Maybe that's why they chopped his head off, is to not let that... Don't know. It's never explained.
Yeah,
other than the one Darwin line of animals competing to stay alive. No explanations.
And nature finds a way.
Fucking, I feel like that you just put that on this movie, you've got the whole movie. So they get back to that hallway. They make a mad dash for it. Not all of them get out of that alive. Their last friend, their last friend does manage to get bit. But they also don't really make it out, because the minute they get into the hallway, once again, to compare this to Wreck again, they immediately run into authorities who are like, oh yeah, no, we've been, we know what these things are, apparently. Like, we know that they're a thing. Which, what? Fuck do you mean? They have, like, liquid nitrogen tanks. They're, like, spraying and freezing the spiders and shit. And they even talk about, like, was anyone bit? Anyone, like, that's how they spread. And I'm like, do people just know these things fucking exist? What is this? What do you mean you know they exist? Do you have a whole fucking team? What?
And notice their priority was never to save any of those people either.
Oh no, the minute they came through the hallway, they were ready to just shoot them all. And they're just like, yeah, no, we're here for that. That shit at the other side of that door. We don't give a fuck about any of you. Which again is exactly like Wreck, where it's like, what? Leaving? Oh fuck no. We're gonna kill you all. There's no leaving. But because their friend got bit, they're all like handcuffed and they're like put down off to the side, and the friend even tells them like, yeah, no, I got bit on the neck when we ran through the hallway there. I'm gonna die. I don't want to die like our other friend and have something rip out of my body, so I'm going to do the good guy thing. Caleb's sister, like, starts untying handcuffs. While she's doing that, their friend stands up and makes a mad dash for the door to the hallway. Knocks a guard in with him. And I do like this scene where, like, the door gets busted open and you're expecting something to run out and they just hold it there. Just waiting. And then it's just a fucking flood of giant spiders that come out and everyone just starts firing and panicking. Also added to why I like this scene is also just watching these people try to shoot him, and you see spiders the same fucking size as them jump on them and just start going to town. But that's something you'll notice seeing this whole scene. they only go after the people shooting at them. Caleb and his friends are able to kind of walk around and get away from them, and they focus on anyone shooting them. That will be important in the very end coming up, that they're targeting people who attack them first.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, prey's going to be prey, but, like, they're very specific to, like, anything that's a threat. So, yeah, all these fucking well-armed people get murdered. Which I also had to be like, what happened to your fucking liquid nitrogen tanks? Well, did you use it all up when you were initially there? Because nobody used that again. Everyone's just like, no, assault rifles, not that thing that clearly was working when we got here. Let's just go to bullets and guns.
Which doesn't make, I thought that was weird. Okay, so you have spiders and you think shooting them is going to work.
But yeah. I mean, I would say, like, sure, they're just an organic thing. You know they'll die. But also, you know what happens when you, like, split them apart and, like, more spawn if you know what these things are, apparently. So, like, maybe stop shooting shotguns and throwing grenades. Like, maybe stop doing the things that are going to bust them apart. You know what I mean? Like, maybe there's a good reason you should have been using your liquid nitrogen, but okay. Caleb takes a ricochet bullet into the leg. His sister pulls him into a van, and she gets him patched up, and they're talking. And basically, like, I'm sorry I was mad at you for renovating and wanting to sell the apartment. Like, you should be living your own life. They're like, things aren't always on you, blah, blah. It's a whole sibling moment. It's a nice little touching thing. Until the giant spiders start coming up the door, and it just goes, oh, well, we're fucking dead. We have no way to fight these things, and they are way bigger. Their last surviving friend, I don't have her name down. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. She goes and gets her car. Caleb had bought her time by grabbing his sister. She does manage to get there, and she uses her headlights to scare the spiders off because they hate light. They absolutely don't like it. She pulls up to the van, they get in car, and then they escape. But not quite yet, because as they go to leave, one more giant spider blocks the garage door. And Caleb gets out of the car. And they're all like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, it's something about what Mathis said earlier about that Darwin thing. And even he notices, like, have you noticed that every time you try to attack them, they kill you? Let me try something. This man goes Jurassic World with this fucking spider, and I don't know how else to put it, where he's just like, I'm not gonna hurt you. And the spider fucks off. Just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah, you're good. They open the garage door, they leave. And that's really about it, other than they demolish the building, obviously. Yeah. It's gone, it's infested. Hence the title. They destroy the building, and we catch up to Caleb, who he takes the old picture of him and Jordy as like a memento of burying the hatchet, whatever. He like buries the picture of him and moves on with his life. And there's one last little spider that comes crawling up onto his arm. And at first I thought, oh, is it one of those? It's just a regular spider. But you see, he hasn't lost that he cares about animals, even after the experience, because he picks it up and then gently blows it onto a log as to like, yeah, fuck off, but like, I'm not going to kill you. And that's Infested. That is that movie. Again, I'm curious what he's going to do with Evil Dead next month. By the time this comes out anyway, we're recording this early, but by the time this comes out, Evil Dead Burn will be out in about a month. I'm just more curious for what he's going to do with it. Because he had CGI in here, but anytime he did have practical effects, like something coming out of another thing, it wasn't terrible. So, like, I'm curious what he's going to do with a bigger budget.
Trust me, if I was making this movie and he said, we're going to use all practical effects, which means we're going to have thousands of spiders, I'd be like, nope, I'm out. No.
I did see a thing about...
You can't train that shit. No.
I did see a thing about he did have a couple, what are they called? Huntsman spiders that he used. because they're just big as shit in general.
Yeah.
So from what I saw, he did have a couple of those he used in some things, but mostly CGI things, because like there's not really a way to make spider crawl out that's that big. But yeah, so that's Infested. It leaves me with more questions than answers, really, in just what the fuck are these things? Why do they do what they do? It doesn't tell you. It doesn't explain that to you. My biggest nitpick with this movie is like, give me... I don't need everything explained, but like at least something. Give me fucking something about these things, because they literally make no sense.
Yeah.
Like their venom goes from being necrotic to it can spawn more of them to if they get killed, they just spawn more. Like what are these things? And also, why does the government apparently know what they are, but like no one's heard of them?
Also, if you think about it, destroying that one building isn't going to destroy the spiders. They're just going to move on.
The other thing is how there were more of those that they caught. There wasn't just that once. There must be infestations fucking everywhere then. Which I do call back to arachnophobia, where as much as that it doesn't make sense with how it happens, at least they do give you an explanation about them, where it's like, oh, this deadly spider mated with a common house spider that they made these things. Like, oh, okay, well, that doesn't really make sense, but that's at least an explanation. Unlike this movie, where they give you fucking nothing. But it's an interesting one. If you're deathly afraid of spiders, don't watch it. But if you don't care about spiders, you can go. I'd suggest just watch it at least once. Especially with him doing the new Evil Dead. If you're curious what he'd be like, this will give you a good idea. That as far as I would say, like Paul was saying in the beginning, like atmospheric, not relying on dialogue. Like he seems to have a pretty good niche in that area. So if he can pull that off with Evil Dead, I think he could make it work. But we'll see. We'll have to see. I don't want to talk about too much in case the movie turns out to be not that good, but because he's also only done this and like a couple short films that I've never even heard of. Infested was the first time anyone gave him a budget and a theater to go to. But yeah, we'll see. This was his first big thing. It's not the worst thing it could have been, so we'll see. Paul, what are you doing? Because my boy Paul over here has been busy as of late. So what do you have going on by the time this comes out, June?
I've been to urgent care. No, I'm kidding.
He fucking might be, folks. He worries me.
So let's see. At this point, even right now, I'm just playing Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, which just dropped on. Just dropped in. Actually, by the time this comes out, I will be knee deep into James Bond, or balls deep, whatever way you want to look at that. But
that can be taken
because as of a week of this airing, or this recording, the new James Bond game will be out, 007 First Light, which I'm really, really, really looking forward to. And seriously, I told before the show, I don't know how well the camera's going to show it, but Paul did some shit to his thumb and it makes gaming really hard right now.
He did. I was worried Paul might be dead.
Big ass bruise, man. And boy, if you've ever tried to do a thumbstick with a swollen up thumb that hurts to touch it,
it's not fun.
But gamer got a game, man.
Time. Usually.
Yep.
But if you're ever curious what Paul might do, what he may not do, he occasionally streams over on Twitch. I don't know if you guys knew this or not. He's a pretty big Twitch guy.
Yep. So I'm over on Twitch. I'm at Cerebral Paul 1. Twitter, I'm Cerebral Paul 1. Twitch, I'm Cerebral Paul. I'm also an editor and contributor at lordsofgaming.net. And I was going to hopefully be doing the or a review of Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, but I literally had to I'm trying to slug to it right now, but my playing is much slower than it would usually be. Ouch. Okay. But
so unfortunate.
Not having a good day today. Today has been not a good day. But here we are.
So we're alive and doing episodes. So hey, you know, if we're not putting one out, then you know one of us something terrible's happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would suggest going out and checking out the articles he puts up with Lords of Gaming, because honestly, like the one he put up one recently about disability, and like something we had talked about recently, disability in gaming. We were talking about High on Life 2 and how that's very difficult to play for someone like Paul, and he has a whole article about accessibility in gaming should be a thing because everyone's a gamer. You should have options for everyone, and that's not always the case, and it's unfortunate. But go
also just be aware that the day we recorded this is actually Global Accessibility Awareness Day. Today is GAD, so the day we're recording. Yes.
Whoops.
So it's okay. I pretty much forgot about it too, but you know, it is what it is.
Well, anyway, you can follow us. Other than that, at OddcastN over on Twitter, and we also have at What an Oddcast on TikTok, where there's clips. Which also, thank you all for liking and commenting on some of the clips that came out more recently, especially Mortal Kombat. I did not expect such a response to Mortal Kombat Armageddon, me just doing a dumb little video on that. So, like, thanks for that, because Jesus Christ, my notifications exploded with you people being like, I love this, and I was like, I didn't think anyone remembered this fucking game. It's not the greatest game. It has its fun moments, but go watch the full video on the second channel, Jokey's Gaming Void. I did a little thing with that. In honor of Mortal Kombat 2, which I did see, but I won't talk about that here. Maybe I'll do a little side thing, talk about some of the newer movies I've watched recently. But other than that, remember the rules. We stay out of the water. We don't dump chemicals in the sewers. Don't prank your friends as a serial killer. Don't betray the puppets. Your uncle's a werewolf and don't believe him. Every ginger's a vampire, thanks to Return to Salem Slot. Jesus. What the hell am I putting on for this one? There's a few that I could pick. Don't collect dangerous animals, all right? Because that whole movie could have been avoided if we just didn't do that. So just don't do that.
Yeah, no matter how much you love and care about those animals.
Oh, and by the time this comes out, you'll have seen Prom Night right before this. And going back to Prom Night, if you murder somebody, even if it's just an accidental they died, just fucking tell somebody. All right, just tell somebody, because otherwise they might just come kill you on Prom Night. Nobody wants that. So just tell somebody.
And 5 years later, you should still not be friends with the one. Don't tell anybody anything.
100% stop being friends with that person. But stay on, stay happy. We'll see you on the next one, which will actually be Father's Day. And I know it's for Father's Day. We're going to go on a road trip. You'll see what we mean by that. Goodbye, everybody. All right, well.
No.